When we started Northport just over 2 years ago, our goal was to grow high-quality, sustainably grown gourmet mushrooms for local restaurants, markets, and households. We also wanted to create a community hub and resource for mushroom cultivation and education. We began this project in a converted garage in Westbrook that was so small we'd often stand in the bathroom to do office work. John, Matt, and I all went to College of the Atlantic together, and we were in the same class. So we met in 2005 as freshmen at College of the Atlantic. We all were really interested in botany, mushrooms, and the natural world. I kind of had a focus in agriculture. John really had a focus in botany and mycology. And Matt was really interested in foraging. And it wasn't until years later we got the idea that it would be really cool to start a mushroom cultivation business together.
So here at Northport, we try to do the whole process of growing mushrooms from scratch. So we actually start in our laboratory on petri dishes, where we culture out different species of mushrooms. From there, we are transferring the culture onto jars of sterilized grain. We use millet. We kind of culture out the mushroom mycelium on this sterilized millet. And from there, we can actually move the mushroom culture onto the substrates or the growing mediums that we utilize. So we use sawdust or straw, different byproducts of grain agriculture. And then we take that substrate mixed with the mushroom culture and we incubate it. We allow the mushroom culture time to kind of grow throughout and colonize. And then we actually take bags and we move them into our humidity and ventilated fruiting facilities, our fruiting rooms. And that's kind of where the magic starts to happen, and we start to see mushroom growth. We start to see the mushroom pin sets forming, which are the kind of little baby mushrooms, and then they quickly expand into these blossomed, fully grown mushrooms that we harvest and then try to get out to local chefs and specialty food shops. So the vast majority of the mushrooms that we produce actually are consumed within 20 miles of our facility. So almost all of our mushrooms go directly to chefs around Portland, to different cooperatives kind of up the coast of Maine.
Obviously, we enjoy growing mushrooms, so we still always want to grow mushrooms, but we want to kind of keep that local so that we can make sure that local restaurants and our customers are getting kind of the freshest, highest quality product they can get. And then we really see our business sort of growing more into helping other people grow mushrooms. So producing mushroom spawn, doing research and development to come up with new innovative techniques that people can use to grow mushrooms, and getting that information out there to people.
In addition to our commercial mushroom spawn production, mushroom spawn that we create for our own mushrooms that we're producing, we also produce spawn for home growers or gardeners, people who want to incorporate mushroom production into their landscapes. So we actually are able to transfer mushroom cultures in the laboratory onto wooden dowels that then can go into logs, and we make these little packages that are just meant to be an introductory experience for first-time mushroom growers.
I remember when we started growing mushrooms, how surprised I was at how fast it happened. It can go from a small pin-sized cluster to a cluster the size of my head in 12 to 24 hours if the temperature's right. And it kind of made me realize when you see mushrooms in the wild, you kind of just think that they're there, but they're actually changing really quickly. The mushroom that you see when you're going for a walk didn't look like that hours before, and it won't look like that hours after.
When you look at a mushroom, what people often don't realize is that you are looking at only one stage of the life cycle. The bulk of the organism actually exists in the soil or the wood that the mushroom is growing from, and consists of long strands of cells called mycelium. At Northport, we grow this mycelium on grain and sawdust in order to create mushroom spawn. the necessary first step in any mushroom cultivation project.
Making mushroom spawn is actually a pretty tricky process. It takes both a lot of skill and a very clean work environment. Over the past 2 years of our business, we've been able to sort of cobble together a makeshift lab where we've been able to produce enough spawn for our own needs and start supplying some spawn to other farms, but we'd really like to increase our capacity for spawn production.
So right now we're actually utilizing a fleet of small pressure cookers to sterilize all of our grain for our spawn production. It's definitely not ideal. We would love to have a full-sized autoclave. An autoclave is kind of a larger device that can sterilize our substrate without the immense amount of labor and inefficiency that using small pressure cookers takes.
And that is an expensive piece of lab equipment that we haven't been able to get. It's really necessary for us to be able to produce spawn at a scale that we can provide other people with a continual supply.
From all of us here at Northport, thank you for watching our Kickstarter video. We really need help upgrading our laboratory so we can continue to produce mushroom spawn for people and farms that want to grow their own edible mushrooms. We'd really appreciate any contribution you can make to help us reach our goal. Thanks again.